Hello fellow mystery buffs, we are back with Eagle Eyes Mysteries, and we're going to be playing The Case of the Midnight Masquerade. So, let us continue. What will it be? What will happen? Hey kids, what's going on? Oh, the phone's ringing. Can't hear it. Eagle Eyes! Jennifer here. Jennifer, Resulka, did you hear? There was a big robbery last night at Mrs. Harper's party, and Sergeant Nail says I'm a star witness. I saw someone take a ruby necklace from Mrs. Harper's room. Now, if Jennifer's on the phone, where am I? Why is she talking to me as well? I shouldn't be able to hear anything at all. At all. Anyway, Nancy, let us, ignore that. Wow, Nancy, who did it? That's the mystery. I don't know. It was a masquerade party and everyone was dressed in costume. Somebody in a big black cape, that's all I saw. You should go to the scene of crime, Mrs. Harper's. Sergeant Nails is over there right now looking for clues. We can use all the help he can get. Oh, he can use all the help he can get. Whoops. With the Eagle Eyes Detective Agency on the case, he'll have it. Meet us here at the Eagle's Nest later on, Nancy. Resulka and I are on our way. I can be bothered swapping accents, but, well, let us find out what is happening. Let us go to the Hopper house. Wow, your house sure is beautiful. Mrs. Harper always has big parties. She's a real high society type. Here's Sergeant Nails talking to her now, as if I didn't guess. But who's smoking? Anyway. Hello, detectives. Boy, am I glad to see you. Since Chief Barnes is out of town, I need all the help I can get. I'm trying to draw up a list of suspects. Did the police do nothing in this town? Really? If he's not doing anything, then he's not even in town. It's disgraceful. Anyway. Nancy Marks said she saw a person in a big black cape sneak out of Mrs. Harper's room. Mrs. Harper and I have made a list of guests wearing big black capes. Mrs. Harper only remembers 3. 1. The vampire Mrs. Green. 2. The wicked witch Mrs. Polaria. 3. Buck Morrow, who dressed up as the Phantom. Oh yes, and there is another suspect. We're relying on what Nancy Marks says. If we can prove she's lying, then we can assume she took the necklace herself. Would Nancy do that? Nancy's not smart enough to do that. Anyway. Oh, children, please help me. Someone took my precious ruby necklace. It was a gift to me from my father. We'll try, Mrs. Harper. Can you tell us what happened? The party was downstairs. I had many guests. I was watching the stairs, and I'm sure no one went up to my room on the 2nd floor at first. But then the magician said he wanted to do some card tricks, so he asked me for a deck of playing cards. I just went into the kitchen for just a moment. When I came back, Nancy ran up and told me what she'd seen. A magician? Who was wearing the magician's disguise? Not disguise. This was a real-life magician. He came to the party with Nina Hernandez. He was quite good. He made things disappear. Wow, like your ruby necklace? Did no one else think about that? Really? Upstairs in her room is Mrs. Harper's jewelry box. This is where the thief stole the necklace from. I tested for fingerprints, but there weren't any. Whoever stole the necklace was wearing gloves. Like a magician? There aren't any more clues, but you two are welcome to look around if you want. Look, Sergeant Nails, there's something here outside the door to Mrs. Harper's room. It's a white chess piece. You could be considered negligent for not noticing it. Anyway. But I don't own a chess set. It must have been dropped by the thief. Wow. You said there weren't any other clues. No other clues my took us anyway. Let's go see. Let's go to the bank. Oh, looks like all our suspects are standing together in the one room. Although Miss Green doesn't look very happy about it. Or is it Mrs. Polaria? Anyway, something like that. Let's start with Mr. Green. I'm shocked that anyone would consider me a suspect. I was wearing a black cape, but I did not steal Mrs. Harper's necklace. You see, I was dressed as a vampire at the masquerade party, and my cape was unusual. My cape flaps up like bat wings as I walk. If Nancy had seen me, she would have seen that. Okay, Mr. Buckmurrow? At ease, detectives. I did wear a black cape, but you have to believe I'm not a thief, and that's an order. My Phantom costume was really detailed. The Phantom was a guy who was horribly injured in an accident. The costume's boots made me walk with a limp. If I'd been the one upstairs, Nancy would have noticed that. Why are people trying to tell me that they haven't done it? They should tell the police! The police! Anyway, let us get over the negligence of the town. Dear children, of course you realize I did not steal Mrs. Harper's necklace. The very idea is absurd. For one, I was costumed as the Wicked Witch, and my witch hat was over 3 feet tall. If Nancy had seen me from behind, she would have noticed my hat. Therefore, I am innocent. Okay? So, you're all trying to say you're innocent. That's fine. I know it's the magician. You don't need to tell me. Oh, Mrs. Minsky. Our crazy neighbor and her little house. Sweet little house. Hi, Mrs. Minsky. Hi, Miss Hernandez. We were wondering if you were at the Harper's masquerade party last night. Hey, Kitty! Oh, Kitty doesn't want to speak to me. I was at the party dressed as the Queen of England. I had a grand time until Mrs. Harper's necklace was stolen, of course. I really enjoyed the magic show. The magician was quite remarkable. He took out a whole set of chess pieces and made them disappear one by one. I could never figure out where any of them went. Of course, I knew he was really just hiding them in his hands or in his clothes, but he does it so cleverly, it seems like magic. Magic! I went to the Mrs. Harper's party with a new friend of mine, Mr. Rook. He's a magician, so he didn't have to find a costume. He travels everywhere with his black tuxedo, white gloves, and big black cape. He needs them for his performance. We had fun at Mrs. Harper's party, but we decided to leave quickly. Mr. Rook had to get back home to Mount Vernon. I was dressed as a gorilla. Here. We took pictures of each other in costume. You can look at them if you want. The first photo shows Nina Hernandez in a gorilla costume. You can hardly tell it's her. The second photo shows Mr. Rook, the magician, in a black cape. Wow, I never saw a more evil-looking magician ever. Well, case solved. No, probably we should go and see Nancy, see what she has to say for herself. So we go to the eagle's nest. Ah, Nancy with your stupid grin. How we love to hate you. I mean, how we love to love you. Great, Nancy's here waiting for us. Let's ask her some more questions about Mrs. Harper's stolen necklace. Hey gang, how's the investigation going? Have the police arrested anybody yet? No, Nancy, and they never will. No, not yet. We want to hear your full story, Nancy. As the main eyewitness, your testimony will be crucial to our case, although I've already solved it. Sure, Jennifer. I'll tell you and Resulka everything. First of all, Mrs. Harper asked me to help out at her party, so I was there dressed in my harlequin outfit. Harlequin? What's that? You know, like a court jester. A clown costume. Anyways, I served little food things all evening. There were a bunch of people there. And later, this magician came in and did some pretty amazing tricks. He asked if Mrs. Harper had some cards. I decided to help find some, so I went upstairs to look. And I'm going to cut the video here because I believe we're about to run out of time. So, yeah, I see you soon.